Mac, is there something about me that makes people want to lower their expectations of me?
How do you mean? Hold on, take a step back.
Okay.
So you're saying that people have high expectations of you, and
Low
then
expectations of me so that
oh,
then when
oh,
I do anything, it's just met with amazement.
okay. So you are asking if people are inclined to have a low expectation about for you of you
Yes.
because of a character trait of yours.
Right.
Hmm. I would. I mean, I guess if they don't know you, I don't know what they would be going off of, but people. I mean, you're the type of you're like a perfectionist. You work hard, so I don't know why people would have low
God, I
expectations.
love those compliments. I'll
Yeah.
tell you the person that's way too easily impressed about me is my father.
Well, there is a delineation, right?
Son of a bitch.
Certain age group where sometimes you do like just zooming into a photo, they're like, whoa, like that's so. I think your father's sort of in that age group. Anything that's cordless, he's probably very impressed by.
Well, no. So, like, I appreciate when he's overly excited about, like, "Hey, you're a really good dad." You know, that makes me feel nice because you don't get those compliments often. It's nice to hear that every once in a while. But there are times where, like, Rafi, my son, will tell
Right.
him that I read to him every night, and my dad's
Mhm.
like, "You read to him every night? Never would have thunk it.
So
Never would have thunk it." I'm like,
you this was a trap here. You phrased this. I was thinking general public. So the question is, what? Actually, the answer is very easy. You
"I trapped you."
you were wondering why your dad had such low expectations of you
It's why my
when
dad has such low
when
expectations of
when
me.
1 week ago we just talked about how you got a tattoo to apologize to your father for your behavior in your adolescence.
One goo, three yeah. Goo. Jaws three. Goo. King of Queens. Goo. Meryl Streep.
I'm
Entertainment.
Goo.
And I'm Mac.
And we are the Mac and Goo program. We bring you lawyering friendship.
Yeah, today you bring you the three best friends that anyone could have. We are talking Daredevil Born Again. 7 years in the making here. Good. I believe season 3 of Daredevil was 2018. Does that sound right? Maybe
Time
2019?
flies. But I'll ask
Six,
you this,
7 years.
though, is that if we were avocados at law, which one of us would be Murdock? Which one would be Foggy?
By appearance, I'm clearly a foggy. Although when
Hell
it comes
yeah.
to
You're
lawyering, I think I
is
would be
it
the more
spoilers to say what happens in the first episode?
well, that's I predicted it. Did I not? Fucking Max Stradamus. It's the first thing I've gotten right in quite some time.
You're
But
dead, bitch.
yeah. Episode 1, Foggy gets got, which sets
Yeah.
off the whole thing for the season, I should say. Daredevil Born Again is a Disney Plus original program. It is rated TVMA. It's an action crime drama superhero show. Subgenres here, Goo. Tell me which one is your favorite. Gangsta, legal drama, legal thriller, martial arts, psychological drama, psychological thriller.
I'll tell you what I don't like, superhero, because even with that, there is a subgenre that goes into it. It's not really a superhero show. It's more of the street crime, street level vigilante.
So just regular hero show.
Kinda. There's no
Remove the
real
super.
superpowers that go into this.
Did you see that finale? That was
I
a bit
saw
of
that
a
finale.
shark jumping moment from one
There's a
suited
couple
character.
things, but wouldn't you recommend this to someone that does not like superhero stuff?
I think you could recommend this someone that just likes regular TV. So
Yes.
that's a good point. Yes,
That's what I'm
agreed.
trying to say. Like, if someone has superhero fatigue, which I understand,
Mhm.
this is still something that's not like that, that you can recommend. I would say that it's not like I would recommend the Penguin to a non superhero person over this,
Yeah,
but this
this
is
is
close.
like a regular guy's penguin, a poor guy's penguin. I don't think it's nearly the level of entertainment and quality that show achieved, but it's
Well,
in the
one of them's
same
on
vein.
HBO though. One's
It's
on
in the
HBO.
same vein. Nah, it's
Yeah.
the streaming money is all the same these days. Don't give me that bullshit.
No, because can you think of anything Disney Plus wise that has gotten anything close to an HBO show?
I don't care. Don't give me that
Quality
bullshit these days.
control.
And also, like, Colin Farrell's great, but like John Bernthal, he's the man. So
HBO
like,
is
it's all
not even television. It's HBO.
Goo, this is a 9-episode season totaling 446 minutes, about 49 and a half minutes per episode. And Goo, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that there were 3 Netflix Daredevil seasons that took place 2015, 2016, and I believe 2018 or 2019
Mhm.
um, that shaped, molded this series. It's like loosely connected stuff, and that kind of mattered, but they're also taking some liberties. And we also have seen Daredevil and a couple other MCU things now, Spider-Man No Way Home or Far From Home, and we saw him in She-Hulk. We've also now seen Wilson Fisk in a few MCU things. So I don't really know what was supposed to matter prior to this season of
Ready for
television.
this?
Yeah.
Both everything and nothing.
And they actually did a decent job of sort of teetering that line. And speaking of those aforementioned 3 Daredevil seasons, Goo, season 1 of Daredevil, 99% from the critics, 93% from the
Love that
audience.
season. I
It
love
was
that
one of the
season.
first superhero shows, Marvel shows of this new era of streaming that really hit hard. That
Yeah.
Jess Jones season 1, but that was before Jess Jones. So it really set the standard for what was to come over this past decade. Season 2, a little bit lower than most, even though it's my favorite season of Daredevil. 81% from the critics, 89% from the audience. And season 3, where we last left off in this Daredevil saga, 97% from the critics, 86% from the audience. So the audience has been creeping down a little bit, and the critics are all over the place. So you could call this season 4 or it's its own thing. It kind of is. 87% from the critics for Daredevil Born Again, 81% from the audience. So like I said, audience has crept down a little bit.
I also think the
Critics are all over the
audience,
place.
and it's a bit of a blind look at it where certain people just don't care for anything that Disney touches and they immediately jump on it.
Yeah, I will say though, I do feel like this fits in pretty well with the 3 Netflix seasons.
I
It's like
thought it captured the
thematically,
tone of the show pretty well.
tonally, yeah,
Yeah.
it did a good job of that. And speaking of that, the Metacritic scores, season 1 to 3, 75, 68, 71. This is a 69. So
Nice.
sort of in that same tier.
Yeah.
It seems like season 1's head and shoulders above if you go by the rating systems. My like I said, my favorite season is season 2. You get Punisher. I just think it's
Get Electra.
I just think it's a little bit above the other 2.
I
And
think
now
season 2 was a
3.
little overstuffed. I thought that
Okay.
season 1 was the cleanest, like, hey, check out these 13 episodes.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. But that's the thing about the Netflix series too. 12, 13 episode seasons that just went on for a lot.
And I
This-
really like season 3 too.
Yeah, I didn't care for season 3. Too much church stuff, too much mom stuff. Just went along. It went on for too long.
Oh, you love mom stuff. And usually when it's in a church, that's your favorite setting of your videos.
The nice thing is over the years, they've decided, and the audience has really decided, that we prefer these shows in that 6, 7, 8, 9 episode range over 12, 13, 14, 15. And I think this did a good job probably being the right length. You could even maybe cut a little bit out, get to
Mama
8
Bear
episodes
Forage.
there.
What I would have loved, and I think moving forward, this is what I do want, is 10 episodes, but you take 2 or 3 episodes like you did in the bank robbery episode and just have it be its own one-off half hour and have some fun with it.
Yeah, I like a little more conciseness, and especially at the end of the season, I felt like some of the things we did during the season were just more a distraction. The Muse stuff, for example, ended up just being like a footnote, which was a little disappointing.
It could, I mean, it slightly a bit of a waste, but it was all a part of Fisk's plan.
Yeah, no, that's it. It just felt like we were misdirected and went down these certain paths when ultimately all we really cared about was what the 2 characters that we've been dealing with the whole time. But I guess that's sort of what
Great.
Fisk does. This show is created by Matt Corman and Chris Ord. They are a writing working duo. They did a show called Covert Affairs. I got a bunch of episodes you might know them from. And the showrunner is Dario Scardapane. He was the executive producer and maybe showrunner as well on the Punisher series, both seasons. Did they get a season 3 in Punisher? I don't remember.
I think just 2 seasons, and he has an upcoming, not made for TV special, but a Disney Plus exclusive, like 80-minute. The Scarapani.
I think they said like 50 minutes.
What is it?
I thought they said like 50 minutes.
It's just 50 minutes?
I think so, yeah.
At least give me an hour, I would say.
Yeah. The Punisher stuff is great. Scarapane on top of Punisher has done the Krasinski, Jack Ryan stuff on Amazon, which I think a lot of people have liked. Goose, synopsis of Daredevil Born Again. Matt Murdock finds himself on a collision course with Wilson Fisk when their past identities begin to emerge. So, like we have talked about a few minutes ago, this series starts at a point where Matt Murdock knows who Wilson Fisk is and, what he's doing. Wilson Fisk knows that Daredevil is Matt Murdock. It like cats are out of the bag. But outside of that, not much that had happened in the prior 3 seasons really plays here, except for some Bullseye stuff.
Well,
right?
Murdock knows that Fisk is up to something, and you need to know their backstory a bit so that you aren't thinking that Murdock is just obsessed with Fisk, like his girlfriend on the show, where she doesn't know their past history, just that Matt was a lawyer that had put him in jail. So she's like, why is he so obsessed with Fisk?
Why are you so obsessed with me? By the way, that was Mariah Carey's "Just to Eminem," and I didn't care for that. Team Eminem on that one. This show.
No, I'm not. I'm a lamb. Isn't that what she calls her people? Lambs?
Do they? Lamb chop?
Yeah,
This show stars.
Play along.
Great show. Great television program.
The song that never ends.
It says that song that never ends. This show stars Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock / Daredevil. Margarita La Viva as Heather Glenn, the psychologist, girlfriend of Matt Murdock. Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk.
Fisk. Vanessa.
Jania Walton as BB Urich. She's like the pseudo-independent journalist.
I'm going to need more out of her in season 2.
Yeah, I didn't care.
They gave us the tip of what they're going for with her.
Yeah.
Was she in the last couple episodes?
No, just the BB footage was, but I think she gets credited for it.
Okay.
Artie Frushin as Buck Cashman. This is one of Wilson's right-hand men in City Hall. And by the way, Wilson Fisk is Mayor Fisk in this show, if you didn't know.
Also, I'll give him credit for this. One episode was the election period, and he's right in office. I was expecting at the start of the show to have half of the season of him either running for office or even the full season of just the election time. They got it all out of the way. Credit to them.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I'm like sort of fucking confused as to what the hell's going on in the MCU right now, street level wise. Nikki M. James as Kirsten McDuffie. This is Matt Murdock's lawyer partner. Ayet Zurer as Vanessa Fisk. That's the wife of Wilson. Michael Gandolfini, James's son, plays Daniel Blake. Sort of an understudy to Wilson Fisk here. That's sort of what he becomes.
Penguin Jr. He reminded me of the younger Penguin from the Penguin show. Mama, you deserve so much better.
Sabrina Guevara as Sheila Rivera. She is like the one person in Fisk's office working against him. Then you have those two son of a bitch motherfucker New York City cops. Clark Johnson as Cherry, Hamish Allen Headley as Powell. They're great, especially Hamish Allen Headley as Powell. Real great son of a bitches. They fucking nail that role. Great casting. Rubo Quian as Detective Angie Kim. She is someone in the police force that is not on Wilson Fisk's agenda. Yeah. And I'm sure she has a role in the comics that I don't know. Michael Gaston as Chief Gallo. He also is not working for Fisk. And then some of the more notable characters here that aren't in the full season, but they pop up. Hunter Dewin as Muse has a couple episode arc that was pretty good. I was really invested in the Muse stuff, and then it sort of goes away. Deborah Ann Woll, of course, pops up as Karen in a few episodes. Wilson Bethel as Benjamin Poindexter / Bullseye. I feel like they didn't really know how to use him, so you get the stuff at the bookend here. He's obviously going to play a part going forward, but it was a little confusing.
The new showrunners redid the first episode and the last 2 episodes, and then they had to play with the middle ones, and that's really where Poindexter is.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense there. And to Goo's point, this show was originally imagined as a 1 season, 17 or 18 episode season of television. It went through extensive rewrites and reshoots. It was supposed to come out 2 or 3 years ago. This is what we got. They've already confirmed a season 2, which is coming out next March, so 1 year after this show. John Bernthal as Frank Castle / Punisher. Every time he pops up, he's the best character on the screen. You root so hard for him. Yeah, like easy Plemonade. And then a couple characters. Well, one I hope we get going forward here. So Camar de los Reyes was Hector Ayala, White Tiger, who plays a part in the first few episodes. And then his niece, Soledad Ayala, played by Ashley Marie Ortiz, I think takes up the mantle of White Tiger.
She's obviously going to be in season 2 and moving forward.
Yeah,
with what they try and get done.
So there's a number of more characters that kind of play a factor in here. And to that point, it is a pretty in-depth television show. They're really working on developing a lot of characters to play in a second, maybe a third, fourth, fifth season. So I got to give them credit for that. However, if you were tuning in to this season of television for like some smashing kick-ass Daredevil stuff, a good portion of the season lacked that.
He wasn't Daredevil for a couple episodes. And when I say a couple episodes, I would say 4 to 5 episodes.
Yeah, and again, we already talked about it. You know, in the very first episode, Foggy gets got, and so he hangs up the mantle because he basically is convinced that Foggy got killed because he's Daredevil. So he's not Daredevil for a couple episodes.
Also crossed his own line.
Yes, right. Yeah, he threw Poindexter off the building, which should have killed him. I don't understand how he survived that.
The imagery of him throwing him off the building so nonchalantly, I laughed so fucking hard.
Yeah, there were a couple of goofy things in this series. I do like that they did a little more of the Daredevil web slinging with his sticks, his nunchucks. I like that shit. This is supposed to be so street level, right? And there's no real superhuman stuff, although Daredevil has an ability. Poindexter surviving that fall in the first episode blew my mind.
After he had just broken his back a year or 2 earlier.
Ridiculous. And then there's something that happens in the finale, Goo, that's even more ridiculous than that.
There's a couple things in the finale that really you have to stretch how someone can survive certain things.
Yeah, or kill someone in a certain way.
Or they're able to just walk around.
Yeah, or take a bullet in a certain area of the body and you're good, like one day.
Oh, okay. So you might have more experience than me with this because I have zero experience. I have very offhand knowledge of. So when a bulletproof vest is shot, the material of the vest is now compromised and it no longer works. Correct?
That's not necessarily true. It won't work to its full guarantee. Almost like bulletproof glass. Like once it takes a few hits, it can become compromised. If you were to get shot in a very close location to where the initial shot was, that might make it through. There's also certain ammo that is going to just get through certain bulletproof vests. So it also, when you get shot in a bulletproof vest, it still fucking hurts. You still feel the impact. There's just no penetration. So there's all sorts of stuff, and there's all sorts of different, bulletproof vests. So that stuff, I'm kind of okay with.
Well,
what
if you're shot like 6 or 7 times in a bulletproof vest?
It's gonna hurt a lot. But if it's a handgun, it's probably not gonna get compromised. But if it's a rifle, a larger gun, maybe. I don't know enough to speak fully on that, but you have a certain point there. You definitely have a point to be made.
Vanessa.
I
can listen to Vincent D'Onofrio breathe heavy and say Vanessa for hours.
Do you want to run through the old gauntlet here?
Yes, I would. Fun factor, I think this show, while you think might have taken its time on certain things, I believe that it still had the fun action pieces that we really enjoyed about the original show. I don't think anything touched what we got from season 1 in the hallway or season 2 in the staircase. But there were 3 or 4 fight scenes on this show, whether it be the first episode where it's Bullseye v Daredevil, or it's just Matt fighting cops, or the stuff that they give us at the end. I don't want to say what goes on, but there's still a bunch of fun. I also, while I do think he might be disbarred, I enjoy Matt in the fucking courtroom too.
Yeah, there's definitely fun to be had. It's not consistent, but when it pops up, it's great. Now, this might be speaking more of the status factor, so maybe we could roll into that.
Right ahead.
I really enjoyed that at points this was a bit procedural law stuff. Like, it really, like, I think this show rounded out Matt Murdock better than the Netflix shows did. The Daredevil stuff might have been better in the Netflix stuff. I enjoyed a little bit more of lawyer Matt Murdock getting tied up in certain things that also complicates the Daredevil stuff. Like in the Netflix shows, we didn't see a lot of in-court stuff. We saw them in the law office talking about
season
stuff.
2 was a lot of in-court stuff with Frank Castle.
It's my favorite season of the show, Goose, sort of what I'm talking about here.
So you just want
I like that he's
as a lawyer. That's it.
Well, no, I like that I like when things in the world are affecting both lawyer Matt and Daredevil. I like that intersection. I like that crossover. This season has a bunch of that. Season 2 had a bunch of that. These might be my 2 favorite seasons of the show. I just felt like as a show from episode to episode, this worked really well. Now the highs, well, you know what? There's a couple great moments in this show. The highs might not be as consistently high as the other 3 seasons, but I felt like the pulse of the show, the beat, was maybe the best of the 4 seasons.
Was that your satisfactor?
Yeah, it's satisfying for it to be consistent.
I was super satisfied.
It's
satisfying.
You're
bringing the show back with a bunch of actors that we liked a decade ago. They all pretty much look the exact same. The characters still feel the exact same. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's satisfying to have a consistent beat and not waste a ton of time, which the Netflix shows did because you had 12, 13 episode seasons.
Also, the bank heist episode I had so much fun with.
Yeah, that was a very good episode.
Borometer, a little ticky in the fact that not only is it repetitive at points for itself in this season, but they do borrow a lot from the original 3 seasons of the show, especially when dealing with, how Matt feels about killing or the whole vigilanteism and hiding behind a mask. Like, they've kind of touched on that stuff in the past.
Yeah, so to that point, in the moment while watching the season, I wasn't like bored, but by the end of the season, I didn't care as much as to what was going to happen because we are in the 4th season and we now sort of know that none of this really has big ramifications on other stuff. So I enjoyed it as a television show.
I don't care about other stuff, though.
But big picture stuff, like, I know it's not going to matter a ton, so I didn't really care a ton what happened in the finale, if that makes sense.
We can talk about that during the finale. Halloween, will this show wane over time? No. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, it will.
You think it will?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to rewatch this.
What do you think is pointing you in that direction?
I just don't think there's a lot of rewatchability here, and they don't go out of their way to like give us a huge cameo or anything like that, which again makes it a good television show. But you're not going to pop back and say, "Oh, I want to watch this for this reason."
Pish to you. Aquaterworld, is this better than Waterworld? Yes.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Pants Tent City, Excite Bike Mania. What got you going? Anything with Frank Castle, and then there are 2 or 3 fight scenes in this. Like I said, doesn't top the heights of the original Daredevil show on Netflix, but some of the fight scenes in this are still pretty dope.
We get like a 10-minute scene in the finale involving Punisher, involving Daredevil. It's fucking phenomenal. Really great. And like, I know you can't do that every episode, but every time you get that, you're like, this is what I want.
Let's talk about something from that episode when we get to spoilers. There was one line that he said, I was like, that's really fucking funny. Plemonade. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. I enjoyed, of course, Castle. Also, in the little that we got from Karen, I thought that Karen was pretty good in this too.
I like a dialed back Karen. I agree, because if you go back and listen to our reviews of the other stuff, I'm not a Karen guy at all.
No.
They give her too much, and I don't think she's a great actress. She does a good job in her few moments here. Of course, John Bernthal as Frank Castle's fucking awesome. I also really loved Camar de los Reyes as Hector Ayala. He was fucking great.
Yeah.
Great. And I'm bummed, they had to do him the way they had to do him, but I wish we got a little bit more of him, because that character's cool and he was great.
Also, judging by Karen's heartbeat, I wouldn't be surprised if she wants to get a little something from two gentlemen, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, right. A little Eiffel Tower situation.
Head off to France, if you know what I'm talking about. Max Credit Union.
It's almost too easy to give it to Charlie Cox. I'm going to give it to the show creators, the showrunner here, Scartapane, Corman, and Ord, for recapturing the essence of the original show, and really, even though it's not 100% connected, making it feel like it fits in with the other seasons of television that everyone loved. So I truly think that was quite the accomplishment.
Also, having no idea what was in the original show and what they did. Granted, we saw a bunch of the shots that they use and cut it down to the 9 episodes. But for them to watch it and be like, this is shit, we need to fix this.
Yeah.
Credit to them.
Yeah, credit to them. Seriously. People in studios and people with power don't do that enough. Admit they're wrong and fucking redo it.
For those of you tardy to the Mac and Goo Party, we rate everything on a 40 hot dog rating system. Mac, we are once again dealing with a crisis of identity, not only with Matt, but with Fisk as well. Both of them do realize by the end, we know who we are. That's it. I'm not going to tell you who changes, but they know who they are.
Yep.
The constant yin and yang of Matt and Fisk in this show, and even how they would go from one scene to another. When it goes from a Matt scene to a Fisk scene, it would almost be like they would flip the screen over so that one was looking down, one is looking up. One's more of a heavenly character at the time. One is more of a hellish character at the time. I really like how they played with that. The show, how it looked, almost like it was drained of color. Like say Muse drained all the blood from the show, and it just seemed kind of dull. But I liked that look and how it showed that it wasn't just the original Netflix show that was a little oversaturated in its color. So it felt like the same show, but it didn't look like the same show. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, they definitely made a conscious choice, something with lenses or editing where they like purposefully made it feel darker and bleeding of color, to use your Muse analogy.
They let Matt take his time to be born again. We didn't just he didn't just hang it up and then an episode later, you know what? I'm going to put it back on.
And truly, speaking to what we've already mentioned, to remain spoiler free for here for a second, it's like a new version of Daredevil we get by the end of this season. It's a rejuvenated or re-energized or changed version of the character we've seen over the years.
It kept the feel of the original show, along with its heart and how Matt feels about his friends. I really enjoyed that. But it also borrowed some of the themes of do I kill? Do I want to kill? The whole vigilante thing of hiding behind a mask. Is that the true you, or are you hiding the true you? And Fisk breathing. Lots of Fisk breathing. I enjoyed my time, and I want to say 35 hot dogs.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're a little higher on it than I am.
I want to say it's a nice B+.
You've been consistently higher on Daredevil since the jump than me. He's won me over now. I like Charlie Cox and his dedication. I have never liked Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk. I'm just dealing with him.
I can't wait until he finds you and fucking crushes your head.
I think the worst thing about this season of television is probably Vincent D'Onofrio. I
like them though.
I just don't like. And we've now tonally in the MCU had 3 different Fisks. I just have such a hard time.
The 3 shows that he's appeared in, he's been different.
Figuring out which Fisk is the one that should matter, and they almost go too far past to try to redeem him in this season. because he's like vulnerable. And the last 2 times we saw him, he was sort of vulnerable and more human, less animal. This season, he's more animalistic, more ruthless, and I suppose maybe that's what they want. But like, there's no chemistry at all between him and Vanessa. You don't feel like he actually loves Vanessa, and that is different from the Netflix show. The Netflix show,
I agree with you there. There's
like
something missing between the two of them, and
it's
maybe
it's just a little off.
it's the distance that they had.
Yeah, and maybe that's natural, maybe that's intentional. How they're supposed to, maybe they're just dealing with each other now. But the essence of his character in the Netflix show is he's doing everything for Vanessa, and now it's different. Now, maybe that's what they want. I just didn't care for it. I just do not care for him as Wilson Fisk. Every other character we got, pretty good, pretty good. I was entertained for most of the season. I love when John Bernthal pops up. I thought the show was consistently good, not great. I also felt like Heather Glenn, the girlfriend, you knew something was up with her from the jump. I didn't think so. I'll take this back. I said everyone else was pretty good. She was just okay to me. I didn't love her either.
Her hair had too much life.
So I was thinking like 32 to 34 when I was trying to frame it. I'll go smack dab in the middle on a 33 there, like a B minus. It's a good show. It fits in with the prior Daredevil stuff. I would imagine I was right around there. I didn't look up my old reviews for the other 3 seasons of Daredevil. I think 1, 2, and 4 are somewhat in the same range for me. And I think season 3 is a tier below those 3.
So what you're telling me is that your favorite season is the one where Fisk pops up for like 2 scenes, and the season that you dislike the most is the one where they brought him back.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mac is sick of Kingpin. That's
I just don't care for D'Onofrio's Kingpin. I just don't.
Ugh. All right. Shall we spoil?
Let's get to it. Spoilers.
And I feel like if you are gonna work on this plot of land that has no jurisdiction, that is not controlled by New York, by the government, and Fisk is running this pen, as you would call it, with his little jail cells.
Yeah.
In the instructional video, when he hires you, the first thing it says is that we know that you're going to want to shake Frank Castle's hand. You need to, with all of your power, resist shaking Frank Castle's hand.
So the post-credit scene, if some of you missed it, didn't stick around for the end of the finale here.
No, but Disney
Frank Castle,
put it out there for us and let us know, because at the bottom it said skip credits. So you said there must be something after
there's
these
something
credits.
here, yeah. So once again, if you're wondering how Frank Castle's spinoff, one-off from Scarpane is going to be, we get a little introduction to it here. Frank Castle tricks a goon into coming close, and he fucking gets him. We presume he got the keys, escapes. But I didn't mind it because the people that are like lining up to help Fisk are fucking dummies. They're goons, they're morons, and they idolize Frank Castle. So it works, you know? Like, I know it's a dumb decision, a dumb goon, but because of the context, it actually works.
And this does set up his 50-minute special. I saw Screen Crush talking about maybe him running through Madripoor, him just trying to take out all these crime bosses as something,
okay,
which would be a fun 50 minutes. Or maybe it's just him going to get a bite to eat.
Just ordering off the menu. He's been real hungry.
Yeah, he's just sitting. He's like, I'm pretty hungry. I've been in a little cage for a while. I was chained up. I want to get myself a hiato.
Now, I don't know shit about the comics, so hopefully one of our listeners can chime in, maybe Dr. Fryer. Is there a comic run where this Mayor Fisk has like a jail in his house like that? Like,
I'm not sure about that, but Fryer,
it's a little bizarre.
We had Fryer on to talk about this, but Fryer has told me many times that the run of Mayor Fisk is quite a good run.
So, speaking of Mayor Fisk, he declares martial law at the end of this series. And now I'm curious because they have moved, but coming up very soon in the Thunderbolts, Valentina is going to be based in New York City. And we have a lot of heroes that are attached to New York City, most notably Spider-Man. It feels like it feels almost like they're doing too much here, because when we get to the Avengers level stuff, we're not even going to be talking about martial law in New York City. And I feel
No.
like it doesn't matter.
So Spider-Man is the
The
only
cop said
Avenger.
she doesn't matter.
Spider-Man is the only Avenger that I feel like would care about the street level, what the mayor is doing stuff. All the other Avengers might have their hands full.
Well, that's what I mean here by the end of this finale, where I almost just like don't even care that martial law is going on in New York City. Like, we're
That's
talking,
because you're always hoping for it in real life.
we're on a galactic level now, you know, like we got bigger threats than fucking Wilson Fisk running amok in New York City. So I do think maybe there's a cool Spider-Man story coming around the corner involving this. But for the most part, I'm like, yeah, all right, fine, whatever.
I mean,
Like,
you've already talked about this. I don't think Spider-Man can be in live-action Disney shows, and I don't think that Fisk is allowed to be in movies.
so they're like even more
So
so,
we're not
like, what
gonna
are we
get-
doing? Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
I think contractually
I'm
that's how it works.
bothered. I'm bothered by like this. Oh, we're supposed to
Well,
be so
no, so,
invested in this
okay. So
martial law in
Daredevil-
New York City, but it
Daredevil
doesn't
wants
matter.
to form a team, and his team is going to be Jess Jones, Punisher, Moon Knight.
Okay, at the end there, when they're framing his team, what a mistake not to have Kristen Ritter as Jess Jones pop up in that bar, right? That would have been a great pop and a perfect tease. She doesn't even need her show coming back, but for her to play a part, that would have been cool. And like, that's where Jess Jones would be, hole in the wall bar. Like, didn't it feel like they were framing it that way too? Like,
I thought so.
Here's the bartender, here's the hostage negotiator, and then they're sort of turning. You're like, is Jess Jones gonna be there? No,
I mean,
she's
she
not.
is in the second season. We've already seen stills of that. My curiosity would be the other two defenders.
Luke Cage and Iron
yep.
Fist. Danny
And
Rand.
then also, so I've seen Moon Knight as a possible person that could team up with them.
Okay.
Some other smaller scale street level guys that could team up with them. I'm curious, and Fryer brought her up as a possible tease that could happen in the finale, and I forget where they left off with her in the Netflix show with Elektra.
Yeah, so they basically don't even talk about her in season 3, if I recall that correctly. They just like sort of skip past her.
Doesn't she die in season 2?
And they
And
like
then she's brought back to life in the Defenders.
they like the hand like resurrects her sort
Yeah.
of. Yeah, and right. That's why season 3 of Daredevil's not great. It
You know
just
who
doesn't
should
make
play
a lot of
Elektra?
sense.
Carmen Electra.
Heyo.
We're in. We're both in.
I mean, I'm not even going to go down that path because we're never going to see Daredevil on the big screen, so it doesn't fucking matter. That's ultimately. That's why I'm like, you know what? I enjoy these shows. I'm never going to love these shows because they're fucking meaningless, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, but remember that sweet fight scene in Matt's apartment with the cops?
That was great.
The
Those son of a bitch cops really got what were coming to him.
That was my favorite line when the Punisher goes to kill someone, and he's like, "No, don't kill him, Frank." Like the least amount of effort in his voice to be like in the past, he would have used his stick with the rope on it to like hit the gun or stop Frank from killing someone. And this is like, "No, Frank, don't kill that guy."
No, he's like, no, that one. So Frank shoots the other one. What about that one?
Yeah. No, that was a great scene.
That 10 minutes where they're fighting off like the ambush is fucking awesome. And then Frank versus all the goons at the end was awesome. I just love Bernthal's Punisher. As much as like Charlie Cox's Daredevil works, like Bernthal when he grunts is like fucking it's great. So good.
Yeah, but Charlie Cox is always grunting too and going,
yeah, it's just unbelievable.
Want to do any episode rundown or just quickly talk about the stuff that we liked in this season?
Yeah, so that the bank robbery episode 5 was great and really kicks back into gear. Okay, we're gonna be Daredevil again. We gotta start doing shit again.
That felt like a great Saturday morning television show one-off of like, hey, let's have this bank heist. We're gonna have the superhero save it. The one note that I would give them: stop mentioning Kamala Khan. Stop mentioning Ms. Marvel. We know that's her dad. And even if they didn't mention her, they just showed the little Funko Pop on the desk and the dad just kind of mentioned having a daughter. That's really all you needed.
Yeah, it's a fine little tie-in, but we know Kamala Khan is not going to pop in on Daredevil, so it's like that's why I kind of wanted the Jess Jones thing at the end, because he's not going to cross over with anyone, which is again why this is all kind of meaningless. But I digress. We get the Bank Robbers episode, then we get the two Muse episodes.
Mhm.
Fascinating character, really cool little lair. The stakes were kind of high, and then he's just gone. We don't deal with Muse at all.
He's killed.
And the same way White Tiger gets got. So they are just essentially distractions in the Daredevil versus Fisk, gauntlet we have here. We get
Plays
the
into
episode.
all of these vigilantes being lumped together, though.
Yeah, right. And we get to episode 8. Now, Goo, honestly, I need an honest opinion here. Why in the world would Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil,
Yes.
jump in the way of a bullet that would kill Wilson Fisk and solve all of his problems?
Do you want my serious answer or my
Yes.
joke card?
I want both.
Okay, so the first one is I think it's because he just found out that Vanessa was the person who put out the hit on Foggy Nelson.
So, stop right there. If
Yes.
Vanessa was getting shot, would he have allowed Vanessa to be killed?
I don't know.
See, all his problems would be solved if these motherfuckers were killed, Goo.
Who are
So
you,
that's
John
why
Bernthal? That's what he
I
said in the last
I
episode.
don't understand. So again, I'm trying not to get too bothered by it because it's meaningless. It's meaningless. Why are we gearing back up for with a team at the end to fight Fisk when you could have just fucking let him die? He could have
Do you
let him
think it's
die.
do you think it's one of those things where Matt doesn't want someone else to kill Fisk? He wants to be the one that takes care of him?
He's had plenty of opportunities to kill Fisk.
He's biding his time. Do you think it's do you think it's a Batman Joker thing where, Batman does want to put the Joker away, but he also kind of needs him to fuel him?
I mean, how many years in now do we need for Matt to realize the legal system's not going to take care of Wilson Fisk?
Maybe it's just like it's a subconscious thing of if he gets rid of Wilson Fisk, then there's going to be nothing that keeps him as Daredevil. Like he's not going to want to be Daredevil anymore, and he needs Fisk to fuel him.
I don't know. I don't get why.
That was my joke card, by the way. That was the answer.
I don't get why. If Fisk died, like everything would be better for everyone, and Matt doesn't let him die. And to me, that's where I lost interest in what was going to happen in the finale. I loved that we got cool Daredevil and Punisher moments. I didn't give a fuck what was going to happen. But what did happen, which again, I don't understand what he can and can't do. Wilson Fisk can just break a guy's whole head now.
I love it. He's done that in the past.
I mean, what are we doing? What?
You saw Halloween when Michael Myers stepped on
I
that
don't
man's head and
understand anything about that character.
He turned that man's head into cake.
I'm just
It's cake.
I'm just gonna keep watching this series and enjoying it anywhere from 30 to 34 dogs and being like, yeah, there were some good moments. Yeah, it's good.
Let me ask you a question, and maybe this is obvious and I'm just a fucking idiot. Did Fisk know the whole time that port was an open land and this was always his end goal, or he stumbled upon it while in office?
I don't know. And I feel like they didn't spend enough time on that because it's this big sort of reveal, even though the audience already knows. I don't know.
Right.
I don't care.
And I was listening back to the conversation and I'm like, if he knew the whole time and this was his big sweeping plan to bring Vanessa back toward him, like that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. I don't know. I'm just so uninterested in the him and Vanessa stuff because they seem uninterested in it.
It's kind of tough, when you have to keep on impressing your wife with cool open barges that you can.
Yeah, with fucking live stock in your basement.
I don't think she loves him.
She certainly does not love him.
And I also thought that she let Poindexter go to first off kill Foggy Nelson, but also as a thing of like, if she kills Fisk, what are you going to do?
Right. And I know you lose one of your central characters. That's a much more interesting story if Fisk's wife.
Vanessa is the one that killed him.
Yes. Thank you, Goo. It writes
Yes.
itself. It writes itself.
Also, so Bullseye shoots at Fisk's chest, I would say.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not an effective shot, is it? You want to shoot for his head, right?
I mean, a headshot would be better, but then Matt Murdock can't jump that high to save him.
You don't know how high Matt can jump.
No, he
Matt can
certainly
leap.
can.
Matt
Yeah,
can do
it's interesting that a man named Bullseye, who canonically can hit anything he wants from like
He's
any
hit
distance.
everything on this show. He's nailed everything.
Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't shoot him right through the eyeball. But cinematically, Matt can't do this dive across and get shot in the chest, so that's why that happens.
Oh, you know what my favorite part of the entire show was?
What's that?
Okay, so in the finale, so the Punisher shows up. He's shaven. He has a nice haircut. And Matt points out, he's like, oh, and you're also wearing aftershave. And that was all because Karen was coming back and he wanted to look good for Karen. I fucking love that.
He wants to fuck,
But does he? He has a connection to her, but he also doesn't want to do anything with her because he doesn't want to forget about his family. And if he does fuck her, he's going to forget about his family. Like all of us, memory loss.
That post-nut clarity, memory loss.
Like, did I have children and a wife?
Why was I doing this whole thing?
Oh, could you imagine if he does it and he's like, why am I punishing?
Why am I wearing this? I don't even like black.
What is this skull on my shirt? Who am I, Sid? I really like the show.
I enjoyed it.
I don't love it as much as the original show, but I love what they were going for. And I think that they're going to do better in season 2.
I could give a fuck what happens to Wilson Fisk at this point. I just want to see Punisher and Daredevil do cool shit.
Is there anything else from this episode that we forgot?
I'm sure. There's a number of things.
Okay. Oh, Foggy's dead.
Yeah. Foggy's dead. Karen's alive.
That was a great
Karen's
thing,
coming
too,
back.
is that Matt is fighting Bullseye while listening to Foggy's heartbeat.
And I thought it was a good way to get you into the show again.
Yeah.
Good, like, oh shit, the stakes have been raised from the jump.
Let's get into Maxac.
And Maxac could be anything. It could be a boat. And Mac, while watching an old YouTube video earlier, Todd in the Shadows, I enjoy his music reviews, he went in and reminded us of, first off, one of our favorite trends from the 90s, which was cartoons wearing hip-hop clothing.
Yep,
And not only was a cartoon wearing hip-hop clothing, but back in 1994, Disney released a hip-hop album called Mickey Unwrapped, and this featured Mickey and his friends rapping. I'll show a picture on the YouTube screen. I'll describe it to you right now. Mac is looking at it right now. It is Mickey with a backwards ball cap and saggy jeans over his red shorts along with boots. Mac, I am going to read you a list of song titles that could be on Mickey Unwrapped.
Okay.
I would like you to tell me if this is a real song from Mickey Unwrapped or if it is something that I have made up.
Oh, these are original rap songs.
No, they're more covers and they're more playing with, songs of the time.
And by the way, Goo didn't do a good enough job of describing the saggy jeans over the Timbs that Mickey
that's right. He's
has
also
there.
wearing Timbs.
He's rocking Timbs.
Wearing Timbs. All right, Mac, first song up here, sung by Minnie Mouse, Ice Ice Mickey.
Yeah, 100% real.
Move to the beat, yellow shoes on his feet. That is correct.
Are you going to tell me? Okay, I was right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just did a lyric from the song.
I wasn't sure.
I'm not allowed to play the songs on YouTube.
I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if we were going to get a ding, ding, ding.
I don't have any sound effects. Goofy's Paradise, sung by Goofy, of course.
Yeah, very real.
I made that up.
Ah, fuck. God damn it. Good one. That's a good fake one.
You should have noticed that Goofy's Gangsta's Paradise came out in 1995. This album.
Oh, good call, Goo. Good call.
All right. How about sung by Minnie Mouse? What a Mouse.
No, I don't care for the title, so made up.
Incorrect. What a Mouse by Minnie Mouse is a real song.
Like, what a mouse, what a mouse, what a mouse, what a mighty good mouse.
You know that he's loyal because you never hear about him with another girl. It's an actual line from the song when talking about
Right.
Mickey.
Yep. Yep.
It was a goof day.
You wouldn't give me 2 fake goof ones. It's real.
That one is also fake. A take
Fuck!
on
You did give me 2 fake goof
It Was a
ones.
Good Day by
Piece of
Ice
shit.
Cube.
Fucking piece of
Gorse.
shit.
I guess it was a good day. I didn't have to take up my AK. I guess
Are
it
these
was
going to
a
be
good-
all real except for the goofy ones that I catch on?
How about sung by Daisy, California Adventure Love?
California Love was 95 or 96, so that's fake.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You're on it. I shouldn't have told you that one from earlier.
Yeah.
How about Bow Wow to the Beat, sung by Pluto?
Lil Bow Wow is like 6, so I'm going to say also fake.
This is correct. This is real, actually.
Oh, okay.
This is Pluto, Bow Wow to the Beat, featuring Whoopi Goldberg.
Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay.
That's not the song. The song is just Pluto making dog noises. How about the
That song? It might have been Lil Romeo, actually. It was either Lil Romeo or Lil Bow Wow had a song with Solange Knowles,
I didn't know.
the sister of Beyonce, in like 03. It's pretty good. 05, maybe.
Ducks in the Hood.
Yeah, that's real.
That is real, and it's done by Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Love that.
Ducks in the Hood were 3 tough ducks with an attitude. Some say we're cool. Some say we're rude. Once again, this is a real album put out by Disney
Incredible.
in 1994. You can't botch this.
Can't touch this. Dun, 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 dun. Botch doesn't seem like a word Disney would use, so I'm going to say it's fake.
You are incorrect. This is done by Goofy, Mickey, Minnie, and Pluto. You can't botch this.
Unbelievable.
I turned on the hose, and my lawn became a lake.
I got hose.
Goofy says. Nothing but a goof thing.
I'm all fucked up by the goofy shit. Nothing but a G thing, baby.
Nothing but a goof thing. Huh?
That's got to be real. Give me a real.
That one is also fake.
Ah, you piece of shit. You fucking asshole.
How about Big Daka?
I'm going to say it's real because I don't think you would come up with something that bad.
Sung by the Seven Dwarfs? It's fake. I made that one up.
Fuck.
I'm not keeping track of any of your score, by the way. Down with Big Pete.
When is this over? Down with Big Pete. That is real.
Fuck the police.
That is real.
That is not real. Why would they do that?
I don't know.
And then finally, Gin and Goof.
I'm not getting got by Goofy again. This is fake.
Goof Doggy Dog. You are correct. That is fake.
I don't think the mouse would support the gin part of that. That was the giveaway.
I was trying to think of what else to put for gin. I'm like, I'll just
Sipping
change the
on
goof.
and juice.
I've already fallen back on goof 7 times in my other fake
Got
title.
me 6.
So go and check out that album. It's on YouTube. All right, Mac, where can the folks find us?
You can find us on Twitter and on Instagram at Mac and Goo Podcast. Every other platform where you're Mac ampersand Goo. It's Mac Shift 7 Goo. That includes Facebook, Stitcher, TuneIn, Castbox, Spreaker, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We're on Spotify, but more importantly, we're on Apple Podcasts. Get on there, rate, review, subscribe, 5 stars. If you do that, we'll get you a free Mac and Goo t-shirt from the folks over at Watertown Sportswear. That's Watertown Sportswear, 34 Mount Auburn Street in Watertown. WatertownSportswear.com, expert screen printing and embroidery.
tpublic.com. How often do you doom scroll?
All the fucking time.
All the fucking time. I'm just
Every time I shit, every time I forget what I'm doing, I'll just open my. There's sometimes I'll doom scroll. I'm like, oh, I was supposed to be doing something. Stop doom scrolling. Then forget what I had to do and continue doom scrolling.
And like, I don't follow the account, but I hear the song for the cheese tax every single day, and then it's just stuck in my head for hours. The cheese tax, the cheese tax. Every time you're cooking, this puppy comes a looking. I fucking love that song.
That's a great one.
I love that fucking song. Whoever made it, great job. It loops. It loops.
I'd also like to, I didn't say it yet,
Yeah.
for the folks that have tuned in this late, I'd like to congratulate Goo on his sweet Jeremy Roenick Arizona Coyotes jersey.
Thank you. I believe it's back when they were Phoenix at the time.
Sorry, Phoenix Coyotes. You're right. You're right.
I was looking for a Daddy Kachuk one, but they only had the white, and I prefer the black. And I said, you know what? Styles is fine.
Yeah, I'm not a Roenick guy. But what are you going to do?
I like Roenick. I love Kachuk.
Yeah, agreed there. Kachuk local guy as well. I got to say, when we look back, in general, 80% of what the 90s did to sports uniforms were bad, but the 20% truly all time.
Amazing.
The Raptors jerseys that got shit on for a while, and now they've come back full force. Like, there are some truly great ones, including the one you're wearing.
I also couldn't find a Dallas Drake jersey. He was on the Coyotes, I believe.
Yeah, he might have been. Yeah,
they were always a decent team. They were never great, but they were always good. It was going on in the Western Conference at the time.
Is that where Javi Bulin ended up there?
Javi Bulin ended up. No, he wasn't on the Coyotes, was he? He was on the Lightning.
Yeah, I know. I thought he might have ended up on the Coyotes.
I mean, he might have played for a bunch of different teams.
Yeah. They're like a real Archer Zerbe.
But I mean, at that time, Art Zerbe was great. At that time, though, Phoenix was dealing with Dallas, Colorado, Detroit, just fucking powerhouses. The end of like the St. Louis had already traded Hull, so never mind. It was before St. Louis got good again with McGinnis and Pronger.
Yeah, because Pronger's rookie year was like 01, maybe 02.
No, Pronger's rookie year, he was in the 90s, and he was on Dallas.
Was it 90s?
Yeah.
No, Pronger wasn't on. He wasn't on that Stars team that won the Cup. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that he was on the. Where are we?
I think he
was on Hartford. Actually, he started with Hartford.
He did.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know he came into the league that early. I guess
he was 19 in 1993.
He's been retired for like a decade now, so that makes fucking sense. Maybe 15
but also,
you're right.
He was almost in the Wayne Gretzky trade when they got Gretzky from the Kings, but the Blues were like, we're gonna hold on to this guy.
Yeah. Al McInnes, real hard slap shot.
Oh, he could shoot the puck real fast.
Yeah.
All right, show's over, I guess. Go home.
I guess so. I was way off.
So
we did all that.
Monday, Sinners, I hope, or Goose Day Sinners, I hope.
We'll try to watch it. We both missed the screening.
And then at the end of the week, Revenge of the Sith.
Okay. Yeah, that's
or we could flip it if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah, Sinners, great early reviews. I'm getting excited for that one. And my girl Haley Steinfeld's in it. So
I'm also really excited about rewatching Revenge of the Sith.
I am too, actually. And I want to watch it in the theater.
It's pretty great. I'm not going to lie.
Great?
Yeah, I think it is.
So that's like 36 dogs?
I think with hindsight and comparing it to other Star Wars stuff, I think it's pretty great.
At the time, I loved it. I know that back in 05 when I watched it, I think, right? That was 05.
And we'll get into it with the podcast. I think you can pick and choose a couple things out of it to take out of it.
But overall, it was great. The PlayStation 2 game that came out with the movie, that was the plot of the movie. Great fucking game. Great game.
All right, so check us out then. Tuesdays or Goose Days. I abuse kangaroos. Tim Burton.
Bye.
Please flip the cassette over to side B to continue the adventure.
Now it's time for girls jumping on trampolines.